ang pagkakataong kinakailangan ng handog para sa katapatawaran ng kasalanan. Leviticus 5 verses 1 to 19. Kung kinakailangang tumistigo ang isang tao sa isang pangyayari na kanyang nakita o nalaman, ngunit ayaw niyang magsalita, nagkakasala siya at dapat siyang parusahan. Kung ang sino man ay makahipo ng anumang bagay na marumi gaya ng patay na hayop, mailap man o hindi, o anumang bagay na marumi na nanggaling sa tao, matapos niyang malaman ito, siya'y nagkakasala at dapat na panagutin. Kung ang isang tao ay sumumpa ng pabigla-bigla tungkol sa anumang bagay, mabuti man o masama, sa oras na malaman niya ito, siya'y nagkakasala at dapat na panagutin. Kung magkasala ang sinuman sa alinmang paraan na nabanggit, dapat niyang ipahayag ang kanyang kasalanan. At upang siya'y mapatawad, maghahandog siya kay Yahweh ng isang babaeng tupa o kambing. Ihahandog ito ng pari upang siya'y patawarin sa kanyang kasalanan. Ngunit kung hindi niya kayang maghandog ng tupa o kambing, magdala siya ng 2 bato-bato o 2 kalapate. Ang isa'y handog para sa kasalanan at ang isa naman ay handog na susunukin. Dadalhin niya ito sa pari upang ihandog sa akin. Ang ibong handog para sa kasalanan ay gigilitan din niya sa liig, ngunit hindi puputulin ang ulo. Ang dugo ay iwiwisik niya sa tabi ng altar at ang natiray patutuluin sa paanan nito. Iyan ang handog pangkasalanan. Ang isa naman ay iaalay bilang handog na susunugin ayon sa kautusan upang patawarin siya. Kung hindi pa rin niya makayang maghandog ng 2 bato-bato o 2 kalapati, magdadala naman siya ng kalahating salop ng piling harina. Hindi niya ito bubuhusan ng langis ni hahaluan ng insenso sapagkat ito'y handog pangkasalanan. Dadalhin niya sa pari ang harina. Kukuha naman ito ng sandakot at susunugin sa altar bilang tanda na iyon ay handog kay Yahweh. Ganito ang gagawin ng pari bilang pantubos sa alinmang pagkakasalang nabanggit. Tulad ng handog na pagkaing butil, ang matitira ay para sa pari. Ang handog na pambayad sa kasalanan. Sinabi rin ni Yahweh kay Moises, kung ang sino may nakalimot magbigay ng anumang nauukol kay Yahweh, mag-aalay siya ng handog na pambayad sa kasalanan. Maghahandog siya ng isang lalaking tupa na walang kapintasan. Itatakda mo ang halaga nito ayon sa sukatang itinakda ng sangtuaryo. Babayaran niya ang halagang di niya na ibigay at magdaragdag pa siya ng 5 bahagi nito at ito'y ibibigay sa pari. Ang tupay dadalhin sa pari upang ialay bilang handog na pambayad sa kasalanan at siya'y patatawarin. Kung ang sino may nakalabag sa alinmang utos, kahit hindi niya ito kasalanan at nalalaman, siya'y nagkakasala at dapat na parusahan. Magdadala siya sa pari ng isang lalaking tupa na walang kapintasan bilang handog na pambayad sa kasalanan. Itatakda mo ang halaga nito ayon sa halaga ng salapi sa sanktuaryo. Ito'y ihahandog ng pari at patatawarin ang nagkasala. Ang handog na ito'y handog na pambayad sa kasalanan, sapagkat nagkasala siya kay Yahweh. Leviticus 5 verses 1 to 19. If anyone sins because they do not speak up, when they hear a public charge to testify regarding something they have seen or learned about, they will be held responsible. If anyone becomes aware that they are guilty, if they unwittingly touch anything ceremonially unclean, whether the carcass of an unclean animal, wild or domestic, or any unclean creatures that moves along the ground, and they are unaware that they have become unclean, but they come to realize their guilt, or if they touch human uncleanliness, anything that would make them unclean, even though they are unaware of it, but then they learn of it and realize their guilt, or if anyone thoughtlessly takes an oath to do anything, whether good or evil, if any matter or one might carelessly swear about, even though they are unaware of it, but then they learn of it and realize their guilt. When anyone becomes aware that they're guilty in any of these matters, they must confess what way they have sinned. As a penalty for the sin they have committed, they must bring to the Lord a female lamb or a goat from the flock as a sin offering, and the priest shall make atonement for them for their sins. Anyone who cannot afford a lamb is to bring 2 doves or 2 young pigeons to the Lord as penalty for their sin. One for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering. They are to bring them to the priest, who shall first offer the one for the sin offering. He is to wring its head from its neck, not dividing it completely, and is to splash some of the blood of the sin offering against the side of the altar, and the rest of the blood must be drained out at the base of the altar. It is sin offering. The priest shall then offer the other as a burnt offering in the prescribed way, and make atonement from them for the sin they have committed, and they will be forgiven. If anyone, however, they cannot afford 2 doves or 2 young pigeons, they are to bring as an offering for their sin a tenth of an ephah of the finest flour for a sin offering. They must not put olive or incense on it, because it is a sin offering. They are to bring it to the priest, who shall take a handful of it as a memorial, and portion and burn it on the altar on top of the food offerings presented to the Lord. It is a sin offering. In this way, the priest will make atonement for them for any of the sins they have committed, and they will be forgiven. The rest of the offering will belong to the priest, as in the case of the grain offering. The guilt offering. The Lord said to Moses, when anyone is unfaithful to the Lord by sinning unintentionally in regard to any of the Lord's holy things, they are to bring to the Lord as a penalty a ram from the flock, one without defect, of the property value in silver, according to the sanctuary shekel. It is a guilt offering. They must make restitution for what they have failed to do in regards to the holy things. Pay an additional penalty of a fifth of its value and give it to the priest. The priest will make atonement for them with a ram as a guilt offering, and they will be forgiven. If anyone sins and does not, and what is forbidden in any of the Lord's commands, even though they do not know it, they are guilty and will be held responsible. They are to bring to the priest a guilt offering, a ram from the flock, one without defect and of the proper value. In this way, the priest will make atonement for them for the wrong they have committed unintentionally, and they will be forgiven. It is a guilt offering. They have been guilty of wrongdoing against the Lord. Leviticus 6, 1 to 30. Sinabi pa ni Yahweh kay Moises, nagkakasala ang sino mang magkaila tungkol sa isang bagay na inihabilin sa kanya. Ang sumira sa kasunduan, ang magnakaw o magsamantala sa kapwa, at ang mag-angkin ng isang bagay na napulot at manumpang iyon ay wala sa kanya. Babayaran niya ang kanyang ninakaw o anumang napulot o inihabilin na inangkin niya. Ibabalik niya ang alinman sa mga ito at daragdagan pa niya ito ng ikalimang bahagi ng halaga niyon sa araw na maghahandog siya para sa kasalanan. Ang iaalay naman niya bilang handog na pambayad sa kasalanan ay isang lalaking tupa na walang kapintasan. Itatakda mo ang halaga nito ayon sa sukatang itinakda ng sanktuaryo. Ihahandog iyon ng pari at siya'y patatawarin sa alinmang pagkakasala niya. Mga handog na sinunog ng buo. Sinabi pa ni Yahweh kay Moises, sabihin mo kay Aaron at sa kanyang mga anak, ito ang tuntunin tungkol sa handog na sinusunog. Kailangang ilagay sa altar ang handog na sinusunog at hayaang magdamag na mag-apoy at nagniningas. Magsusuot ng damit na lino at salawal na lino ang pare at aalisin niya ang bato ng sinunog na handog o ito'y abo ng sinunog na handog at ilalagay sa tabi ng altar. Pagkatapos magpapalit siya ng kasuotan at dadalhin niya ang abo sa isang malinis na lugar sa labas ng kampo. Ang apoy sa altar ay dapat na panatilihing nagniningas. Ito'y dapat na gatungan tuwing umaga. Ihahanay sa ibabaw ng gatong ang handog na susunugin at ang tabang kinuha sa handog pangkapayapaan. Hayaang laging may apoy sa altar at hindi ito dapat pabayaang mamatay. Handog na pagkaing butil. Ito naman ang tuntunin tungkol sa mga handog na pagkaing butil. Mga pari lamang ang maghahandog nito sa altar. Dadakot ang pari ng harinang, binuhusan ng langis at binudburan ng insenso. At ito'y susunugin sa altar bilang handog upang ang usok nito'y maging mabangong samyo kay Yahweh. Ang natira ay magiging pagkain ng mga pari. Lulutuin ito ng walang pampaalsa at doon nila kakainin sa isang banal na lugar, sa patio ng toldang tipanan. Inilaan ko iyon para sa kanila bilang kaparte ng pagkaing handog sa akin. Iyo'y ganap na sagrado tulad ng handog para sa kapatawaran ng kasalanan at handog na pambayad sa kasalanan. Lahat ng lalaki mula sa lahi ni Aaron ay maaring kumain nito. Ito ay bahagi rin nila magpakailanman sa mga pagkaing handog sa akin. Anumang madampian ito ay ituturing na banal. Sinabi pa ni Yahweh kay Moises, ito ang handog na dadalhin sa akin ni Aaron at ng mga paring mula sa kanyang angkan sa araw ng pagtatalaga sa kanila. Kalahating salop ng mainam na harinang panghandog, ang kalahati na ihahandog sa umaga at ang kalahati na may sa gabi. Ito'y mamasahing mabuti sa langis at ipiprito sa kawali at pagpipira-pirasuhin. Pagkatapos susunugin sa altar bilang mabangong samyong handog sa akin, gaya ng handog na pagkaing butil. Ang paring mula sa angkan ni Aaron ang maghahandog nito sa akin. Ito'y batas na dapat na sundin magpakailanman. Ang handog na ito ay susunugin para sa akin. Ang lahat ng pagkaing butil na handog ng pari ay lubusang susunugin at hindi ito maaaring kainin. Mga tuntunin tungkol sa handog para sa kapatawaran ng kasalanan. Sinabi ni Yahweh kay Moises, sabihin mo kay Aaron at mga paring mula sa kanyang angkan, ito naman ang tuntunin tungkol sa handog pangkasalanan. Ang handog pangkasalanan ay papatayin sa pagpapatayan ng handog na susunugin. Ito'y ganap na sagrado. Ang natirang hindi sinunog ay maaring kainin ng paring naghandog nito. Ngunit kakainin niya ito sa isang lugar na banal, sa patio ng toldang tipanan. Ang anumang madampi sa laman niyon ay tuturing na banal. Ang damit na malagyan ng dugo nito ay lalabhan sa isang banal na lugar. Ang palayok na pinaglutuan ng handog ay babasagin. Ngunit kung ang pinaglutuan ay sisidlang tanso, ito'y kukuskusin at huhugasang mabuti. Ang sinumang lalaking kabilang sa sambahayan ng pari ay maaring kumain ng handog na ito. Iyon ay ganap na sagrado. Ngunit hindi maaring makain ang handog para sa kasalanan kung ang dugo nito ay dinala sa toldang tipanan upang dooy gawing pantubos sa kasalanan. Ito ay dapat na sunugin na lamang. Leviticus 6:1-30. The Lord said to Moses, if anyone sins and is unfaithful to the Lord by deceiving a neighbor about something entrusted to them, or left in their care, or about something stolen, or if they cheat their neighbor, or if they find lost property and lie about it, or if they swear falsely about any such sin that people may commit. When they sin in any of these ways and realize their guilt, they must return what they have stolen or taken by extortion, or what was entrusted to them, or the lost property they found, or whatever it was they swore falsely about. They must make restitution in full. Add a fifth of the value to it and give it all to the owner on the day they present their guilt offering. As penalty, they must bring to the priest, that is, to the Lord, their guilt offering, a ram from the flock, one without defect and of the proper value. In this way, the priest will make atonement for them before the Lord, and they will be forgiven for any of the things they did that made them guilty. The burnt offering. The Lord said to Moses, "Give Aaron and his sons this command." These are regulations for the burnt offering. The burnt offering is to remain on the altar hurt throughout the night till morning, and then the fire must be kept burning on the altar. The priest shall then put on his linen cloth with linen undergarments next to his body, and shall remove the ashes of the burnt offering that the fire has consumed on the altar, and place them beside the altar. Then he is to take off these clothes and put on others, and carry the ashes outside the camp to a place that is ceremonially clean. The fire on the altar must be kept burning. It must not go out. Every morning, the priest is to add firewood and arrange the burnt offering on the fire, and burn the pot of the fellowship offerings on it. The fire must keep burning on the altar continuously. It must not go out. The grain offering. These are the regulations for the grain offering. Aaron's sons are to bring it before the Lord in front of the altar. The priest is to take a handful of the finest flour and some olive oil, together with all the incense on the grain offering and the burnt memorial portion on the altar, as an aroma pleasing to the Lord. Aaron and his sons shall eat the rest of it, but is to be eaten without yeast in the sanctuary area. They are to eat it in the courtyard of the tent of the meeting. It must not be baked with yeast. I have given it as their share of the food offerings presented to me. Like the sin offering and the guilt offering, it is most holy. Any male descendant of Aaron may eat it. For all generations to come, it is his perpetual share of the food offerings presented to the Lord. Whatever touches them will become holy. The Lord also said to Moses, "This is the offering Aaron and his sons are to bring to the Lord on the day he is anointed: a tenth of an ephah of the finest flour as a regular grain offering, half of it in the morning and half in the evening. It must be prepared with oil on a griddle. Bring it well mixed and present the grain offering broken in pieces as an aroma pleasing to the Lord. The son who is to succeed him as anointed priest shall prepare it. It is the Lord's perpetual share and is to be burned completely. Every grain offering of a priest shall be burned completely, and it must not be eaten. The sin offering. The Lord said to Moses, "Say to Aaron and his sons, these are the regulations for the sin offering. The sin offering is to be slaughtered before the Lord in the place the burnt offering is slaughtered. It is most holy. The priest who offer it shall eat it, and it's to be eaten in the sanctuary area, in the courtyard of the tent of meeting. Whatever touches any of the flesh will become holy. And if any of the blood is spattered on a garment, you must wash it in the sanctuary area. The clay pot to mint is cooked and must be broken. But if it is cooked in a bronze pot, the pot is to be scoured and rinsed with water. Any male in the priest's family may eat it. It is most holy. But any sin offering whose blood is brought into the tent of offering or tent of meeting to make atonement in the holy place must not be eaten. It must be burned up."